right, welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we go. Our final game of the night, Infamous versus Team Freedom here in this two-game series. I'm Breaking CPK, joined by CCNC. And we got our, what should be a good game ahead of us, no doubt, but we got Infamous with a pretty decisive first game victory right there over Team Freedom. So we'll see how things maybe change around this time. And we got a change on Team Freedom side, that's for sure. Underlord Disruptor coming out. How about that? But Slaughter Darkseer once again for Infamous, so that's the same for them. What ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, very much back to their roots for Team Freedom. This is sort of the style they've been playing, picking heroes like Underlord, Abaddon for Ix Might, going to this offlane. They tried to mix it up last game, play more of like normal Dota instead of this super aggressive, pushy style that they do play a lot. As it hasn't been working too amazingly. They got 3-0'd by Duop playing that style. They broke 1-1 against Onyx. And now, you know, losing to Infamous, trying to play more normal-ish Dota. So now trying to go back to the roots, play this style that they're used to. And we'll see how it does. They got, like you said, pretty manhandled last game.
Yeah, it definitely was. But at the same time, I mean, that can happen, even to the best teams. And it's just, we've seen series before where one team just dominates the first game, and then the next game, it's the other team that's doing the dominating. So I definitely know that these two teams, in my opinion, are somewhat evenly matched, and it could be either team that wins, no doubt. So looking forward to seeing what happens here. We got Juggernaut and Rubik bands to follow now. The fourth band seems to be always that thinking band. There we go with the Centaur.
Radiant team
taken away by Infamous.
Yeah, so not wanting to play against the safe lane Centaur. Just overall good hero, very strong in lane, sort of the opposite of the Slark. And Juggernaut also extremely good versus the Darkseer. Healing Ward counters out the Ion Shell mostly in lane, so a safe laner that can actually do quite well versus the Darkseer. Omni Slash doesn't really care if you're surging away, as he's still going to follow you and chop you. And can also purge off the amplified damage with a spin. Obviously, Crush does not go through it. So overall, Juggernaut just a good ban. Good for both teams, actually. So
5 seconds remaining.
Taking that away. Now the third pick for Infamous. Again, they went the Darkseer Slaughter, just like last game as far as other heroes. I mean, what, they had the Shadow Fiend. They did not have a Warlock. Okay.
Radiant team
That's a change of pace.
Yeah, so realizing Team Freedom going to do this super 5-man push, group up and fight you draft, and Infamous realizing that, and sort of how Complexity adjusted their draft earlier to Onyx, picking up that Warlock. Just an incredibly strong team fight here, so much damage between the Darkseer, all the Ion Shells floating around, the Vacuum, the Warlock combined with the Rock, so the Vacuum Rock, a very, very nice combo. But Freedom kind of counter that, the back and forth counters with the Global. So whenever you do start the fight, can Global try and blow up the Warlock or blow up one of their their key heroes. So that the Silencer, you just run around rampants, take the fight after you've killed initial hero using the Global.
Yeah, that on top, they have the Static Storm, obviously, from Disruptor, and a lot of silence. A lot of silence here on the side of Team Freedom now with that, of course, Silencer pick. So fourth pick going to be Lifestealer, a hero that maybe not as affected by his silence ability. They get him to go with that Slaughter. That's, again, a very strong combo. The fact that they got the fourth pick Lifestealer with the Slaughter, even happier, I'm sure. Now fourth pick for Team Freedom. All right. Clinks, that's not expected, but happened.
Yeah, BSJ has been practicing that hero a reasonable amount. They picked it in a couple of games. Quite good versus the Lifestealer, as a hero that doesn't build too much armor early on, likes to go for armor, which does give you some armor, and then much later in the game can go for the AC. But in the intermittent time there, where the Clinks does the Desolator, has the Dragonlance, can just snipe down people, do tons of damage, gives them a physical damage building hitter, which they didn't really have before. The Silencer most probably going to be mid, as Tomato typically plays it there. Underlord, not really a great building hitter, more of a building hitter enabler, and the Clinks going to sort of round out that 5-manny, take your towers draft that Team Freedom likes to go for.
We did see, wasn't it Arteezy, I think, played it for Evil Geniuses at the Dota Pit? Played a little bit of Clinks there.
Yeah, played one game versus Secret. He dominated.
Yeah. So it could be fun to see a similar performance here, perhaps, for Team Freedom. At least I'm sure that's what they're hoping for. Now the final pick to follow, Spearbreaker, taken away from Infamous. So
10 seconds
away an option
remaining.
that could have been a good setup stun and initiator himself, of course.
5 seconds remaining.
No.
Yeah, also very good versus the Lifestealer. 2 stuns that both pierce BKB, so able to lock him down during the
Reserve
rage
time.
duration. And Underlord with the Root and all of their silences. Silencer and Clinks both eventually probably get Hurricane Pikes, at some point during this game. So the stun's able to lock this Lifestealer down while everybody just kites him around, and then they just pelt him with right clicks from the Searing Arrows and the Glaives sort of orb team.
Well, they banned Tinker.
Radiant
Guess that
team
could have been
pick.
something that worried about facing, perhaps. Both teams are probably lining up to pick their mid last pick here, right?
Yes. No, not Team Freedom. Team Freedom is most probably picking the Silencer mid, so probably going to be looking
10
for
seconds
a
remaining.
Eagle hero here. Juby most often plays the Disruptor.
5
And yeah, I
seconds
like the Tinker
remaining.
ban a lot. Kotaro is one of the best Tinker players in all of the NA region, is extremely good at
Reserve
it, and
time.
Freedom really have no way to catch him and deal with him. If he does get off to a good start, a very strong laner would dominate this Silencer in the lane. Okay, no, I was wrong. You're right.
Dire team pick.
My lack of having insight pretty much got me to be right, apparently. Yeah, no. I just assumed that it was going to be Support Silencer, but, I mean, Core Silencer, I know for sure, as you're saying, is definitely a possibility. But, okay, they go Puck, so, yeah, it is going to be a Support Silencer.
10 seconds
Yeah, maybe
remaining.
we're scared that it was going to be a little bit too squishy and easy to kill versus this Slaughter Lifestealer. It would be
5
very easy for
seconds
them to jump
remaining.
him and blow him up, as Team Freedom really doesn't have any jump until they did get this puck. So now they have a little bit
Reserve
of catch, a way to start the team fights, so they can go with the Silencer. Because whenever you do pick a Silencer, you typically want a hero to start the fights for you. So you jump in, you use whatever spell, and then you global on top of it, and then you kill a hero, and you get out, or you continue chasing the fight. And they may have wanted to put the Silencer mid and take the Spirit Breaker, and that ban just sort of put just threw a wrench in their plans. And so maybe going on the fly, maybe they had the Puck in plans all the time, but Puck quite awful versus Lifestealer, does almost nothing to him, and can also get bursted down very easily by this Slaughter Lifestealer. So they have, Freedom definitely have to play very carefully on their cores. They're very squishy and easy to bring down if they are caught alone by the Slaughter Lifestealer. They can kill almost anyone on the map at this point and have some very strong
10
team fight on
seconds
Infamous.
Yeah, good point being brought up. I mean, you might have brought it up
5
before, but just to
seconds
reiterate,
remaining.
Clink's being picked into a Slardar. Is that of concern for Team Freedom as Alchemist's final pick? All right.
Kotaro Alchemist, he invented it.
Did he? Okay. Learned
I mean,
something new again.
he didn't really invent it, but in the patch where Alchemist started becoming extremely popular, I think it was right before the what was it, the Boston? No, not the Boston Major. The Frankfurt Major, the one that's what was then unknown, that had
Okay.
Kotaro on it. Whenever Alchemist was extremely popular, really popularized the Alchemist, one of the best Alchemists, in the North American scene. Although it's not saying the most, is very, very good at the hero, very comfortable on it, and understands the ins and outs of it for sure.
That's fun to see that. Then it's always fun to see the hero and players combinations being picked up here. But going back to the Clinks, though, again, is it of concern that they picked it into a Slardar? The fact that with the Corrosive Haze there.
Yeah, it can be a little bit worrisome. You really want to be on the offensive with this Clinks. You don't want to be getting jumped. So if you are on the offensive, then it's not the biggest deal in the world, as you have your team backing you up. You have the global to save you. They really only have to worry if he is getting jumped, and so that's sort of, what worries a little bit. Oh, this Puck is not going to be able to pressure this Alchemist at all. So if they aren't able to get some good rotations on him, then Infamous is going to look to make space with the Slaughter going for ganks with the Lifestealer at some point. The Darkseer is probably going to have a nice time down bottom versus
30
Clinks.
seconds
It's not
to
the
battle.
best lane in the world for the Darkseer. There are definitely better lanes, but should be able to get at least enough. And they have very, very strong teamfight in Infamous. So once they have this Radiance up, it's going to have a lot of AoE damage. So I think Freedom is definitely on a timer here, but they're very, very comfortable with that, as they quite often play these lineups that don't scale amazingly well late game unless they have an advantage, but they always manage to get an advantage and just try and end the game as soon as possible.
Yeah.
The battle begins.
Stinger here on Slaughter. He's kind of scattered things out and got a ward down, and now he's going to see what's going on as far as who's going where, I guess. But just getting some information for the team. The bounty runes, though, going to be controlled by their appropriate sides. And into lanes we go. So Silencer is going to be partnering up with IX Mike up here on that Underlord. At the top lane, at least. See how that works for them. They're going to be going up against a Warlock Lifestealer. and a Slaughter nearby. I feel like Silencer could be pretty vulnerable if he's not careful here. Oh, well. This is nice, though. Slaughter just kind of walks right into them.
So skill to slow level 1 on the Lifestealer, healing him up as well. He's taking a lot of damage. He may go down here.
So about what I was saying, how Silencer is pretty vulnerable. Yeah, I mean, because there's nothing Underlord can do, too, at least until the Pit of Malice.
Yeah, nothing really to protect him. Flying up pretty far, and the Lifestealer sneaking through the trees there. Newly added group sort of changed the position a little bit. Slithers through them, gets the open wounds off, and they get that kill. So a very nice start for this trial, and now the Silencer continuing to play very far back, harassing IX Mike a little bit, getting that Atrophy Aura level 1, so no Firestorm potential for any kill or anything like that, and healing up Stinger, so he should be fine in this lane.
Okay, well, so he's going to be gone on again. The open wound comes out, and he's going to be hero block, puts the curse out, but this is another dead Silencer. So this leads to my point here that I was going to make, is now with the 2 deaths, you just stop going up here, right? Like, Silencer needs to go somewhere else.
Yeah, he's probably either going to go harass mid or go down the bottom, as he's just going to continue dying up in this top lane. And you really don't want to feed this Lifestealer, as if he does get online super early, he can really feed off of these supports. If they don't get up to Ghost Scepters at a reasonable time, or if they aren't on the aggressive like we talked about, then this Lifestealer will be able to really, really punish them, as they don't have any ways to deal with him while he is raged, other than just shooting him with flinks.
Yeah. Mono gonna make a play on the Alchemist right here. If he lands the Illusory Orb, that's a kill. He bites the dust. He's gonna be able to juke it though, and he's gonna stay alive for the time being. At least gonna try to go for the turn kill. It's not enough though, despite the acid spray. And you see Puck even using that face shift just in case right there as the chase is on from Stinger. But I don't. He might be able to actually. Not in time. He's able to port away, and he'll survive. That was a close call on the turn. That was a good juke though by Alchemist. That wasn't easy.
Yeah, he getting a little bit too greedy in lane, staying in lane with a little too low of HP, taking a lot of harass from the Puck, and sort of giving them a shot back into this game. The Puck having a very good start now with 2 Null's Talismans working towards that bottle. Gonna have it after just this creep. So yeah, just a little bit away. And the Alchemist having the boots, so a little bit low on regen, but still does have the shrine, so not the biggest deal.
I don't know why that was just so funny, but I was watching IX Mike that whole time. You're making your point there, and he literally is kiting through the trees and juking. I mean, he's stayed alive for a long time, and he just eventually just runs into their tower. That's basically saying, you know what, I'm just going to make you chase me all the way here, knowing that I'm dead anyway. So, I mean, I guess that's good, but another case that even with Underlord, I mean, as tanky as he is, he still can't survive of what is all the damage up here at the top lane. So this top lane absolutely locked down by Infamous is very safe to say. And Alchemist right now is winning this middle lane as far as the creep score goes. Now, of course, Puck with the hero kill advantage. And actually might be in some trouble right here. Curse comes out, Illusory Orb, Tomato going forward. There's the Silence, it's only level 1 though, and the Curse isn't going to be enough damage. No, it's
4
not.
HP.
4 HP, he'll survive. And now Stinger's going for a turn kill, but he too is not going to be able to do enough damage. But hey, at least Alchemist, oh wow, he could have waited for his teammate right there.
How mean?
That was rude. Oh well.
Rude reported.
Rude is real. He probably should have reported him though. Anyways, so he survives, that's the good news. But the point is, again, Alchemist, he was winning this middle lane though, very slightly with creep score. Does that surprise you?
No, the Puck really doesn't have the kind of damage to deal with this. Alchemist has very low armor on the Puck, so the Acid Spray really just does a whole lot to him. Once the Alchemist gets up to level 6, and you can really just do absolutely nothing versus him. And, he just continues to spam down the Acid Spray every single minute, pushing in this wave. There's not too much you can do. Up to 1k gold now in the Alchemist, so probably going to be going for the armlet. Does have 2 Radiances queued up in his stash, so he may I somehow doubt he'll finish both of those, but
right. That doesn't stack, does it? Like those
no,
effects don't stack.
No, they don't stack.
That would be absurd, yeah. No, he takes away the 1, so yeah, just kind of misclicking / trolling right there. All right, so yeah, you were saying armlet, but so is he actually just going first Radiance here? Looks like it.
He could. He doesn't have any, mana regen items currently. I think he could go for either the bottle, the soul ring, or something like that. Does have the ulti up now, so not really killable. Tomato looking in the jungle for a kill, but just getting the 6 just in time. But PSG actually going down bottom with Slaughter Darks here. So Nice rotation from Stinger.
I'm sure it was great. I wish I caught it on camera. But they catch the Clinks down there at the bottom lane, and I'm sure the Ion Shell providing plenty of damage, and no corrosive haze even needed right there. It's still able to chase him down. Mania, meanwhile, here in Warlock is trying to run away. The Dream Coil going to be activated. Really just wanted to make sure to get that kill. I mean, that's a, it's only cooldown for another 60 seconds here. It's not the longest, but it gets him the kill. That's what's important, as he's about to hit level 7 meanwhile. As well, yeah, BSJ here on Clinks, dying right there will slow down that farm, which has overall been him actually pretty good. I mean, he's the top farmer on his team and second in the game overall right now. But that was definitely a big kill to have on him. So what do we see on Clinks, though? Like, what's the build on Clinks, you feel like, as far as his items go?
Typically, you'll go for the Aqua and the Soul Ring. Sometimes just one of them. Most of the time, you go for both. And with the treads into Dragonlance and to Deso. Sometimes you go Deso before the Dragonlance, and most of the time you go Dragonlance into the Deso. The extra range, the tankiness is very nice. And Deso just an all-around good item. Gives you a lot of damage and works very well with your Searing Arrows. Your hero is just completely physical damage. So a nice interaction there, and this fits into your hero style quite well. Almost has the Soul Ring finished up, but after that death, gonna slow it down a little bit, but not the biggest deal in the world. The Alchemist does look like he's actually going to be skipping the armor with this game and going straight for the Radiance. Up to 2k gold now and just getting the Sage Mask and ferrying out a Clarity, so doesn't really have mana issues right now. As Clarities themselves, they don't get broken by creeps anymore, are much better for jungling, as you can just ferry a casual Clarity out, and it's the cost of 1 or 2 spells. So very nice from Kataro.
Yeah.
Not spending any more than it needs to on regen.
Yeah, that's one of those changes that I feel like it was just kind of a comfortable change that maybe it can't be necessarily abused heavily, but it's just like a nice change. That's the most annoying thing ever. When that creep attacks you as you pop a Clarity or whatever, and it just takes it off right away. Or even for the jungling aspect. Middle lane, by the way, look at these arrows, man. That's 4 shots essentially. 5th one comes out to finish the job, and Tomato the Dream Coil, sure, that helped as well. So nice little gank towards the middle lane as he picks off Warlock, so successful. However, bottom going to be pushed in now.
That was a pretty huge rotation. Does get the kill on the Warlock, and he used his TP as well on the Warlock, so not going to be able to get up to his level 6 at the time he wanted to. Going to slow down their teamfight prowess for just a little bit of time. Meanwhile, Juby is getting some XP in the bottom lane, so going to get up to the 6 on Disruptor maybe before the Warlock. So a very nice rotation, and also going to get some damage on this mid tower, which you really want to do versus Alchemist. Take down his towers early, shut down his map control. So a very nice, very important rotation for BSJ, as Alchemist and Lifestealer are getting pretty out of control.
Glimpse is ready for a Disruptor, so we'll see if he can make a play. Yeah, he's going to use it right here. The kinetic field, it does catch him. And now he's kind of running back and forth, like, which way do I go? Like a freaking pinball machine. The Searing Arrows, though, are going to be enough damage. And BSJ secures that kill. Juby actually got credit for it on the Disruptor. But the point is they take out Darkseer, so got to feel good about that one. Again,
I think his Fairy Fire was in the wrong slot. He moved his Fairy Fire after he died, and I think he would have lived if he popped it.
Oh, good point, yeah. No, he definitely would have, because, yeah, it was the final auto attack. As he was max distance there.
So, must have had it in the wrong slot, a little irritated, quickly moved it over afterwards. Well, I should have lived there, so.
Middle lane, that's a dead Alchemist. If he went that armlet, he probably doesn't die there, just saying.
Is committed to the Radiance, does buy out the recipe there, so doesn't lose too much gold. 1800 gold on top of the recipe, and an unfortunate death there. Just, it's kills like that give Freedom a chance. They need to shut down this Alchemist early on, slow down Infamous' teamfight, slow down the Slaughter's Blink, the Darkseer mech, because once they get up to those items, that he has a Radiance on this Alchemist, they're just going to have so much damage, it's going to be very hard for Freedom to deal with. Because their cores are not typically known for being very good at pushing out lanes or farming very fast. They're all about fighting early on and taking advantage of their early strength. And if this Alchemist gets to a fast Radiance and they get their ults up on Infamous, and they will have an extremely hard time dealing with it.
Skeleton Walk activated by BSJ. He also have, oh no, that's actually just simply, oh, that is Skeleton Walk, but he also smoked the Deceit with the teammates behind him. They're working their way to the top lane. That would be Super Benja's up here on the Lifestealer. He does have an armlet. See if he gets some toggles, pops that Rage perhaps. Doesn't have teammates here currently, but definitely want to open, but he's going to be spotted, the Clink set is, and that'll give all the information Lifestealer needs. So this gank is already a unsuccessful journey, unfortunately. Gonna pressure the tower, though, meanwhile. At least they'll get something out of it. At least trying to. Underlord, by the way, looks like he's building into a medallion. You mentioned that possibly for something like the Clinks, but Underlord's going to be going for it. So curious choice there. No mech as a result. As Silencer middle lane, he's going to end up falling most likely. Gets the turn kill though. Onto Slaughter, does Tomato playing that puck, and now he's going for Mania here. He took the stun from the Dream Coil, but this Illusory Orb, if he dodges it, we saw Alchemist still here. Okay, doesn't need to actually. Shadow Word Heal apparently a little bit too strong. Here comes the 4 middle lane though.
Yep, taking that top tower and immediately coming to mid, so the Warlock not quite having level 60 yet, just 1 creep away. Literally 4 experience, so they're going to lose this mid tower. Don't have the Radiance out on the Alchemist because of some of those early deaths. If hadn't had those, maybe would have been able to fight here, but instead Team Freedom going to be able to use the strong timing they have right now, and they need to continue to get as much as they can while they are strong.
Disruptor going to take the stun. The Firestorm comes out. There's the open wounds. They're using a bit just to kill Disruptor. Out comes the Column. It's level 6 now. He says it's my turn now, but Tomato with that Illusory Orb, he goes back in with the Silence, takes out Warlock. And they also get the Pit of Malice trap onto the Slaughter right there. So it ends up being a 2-for-1 actually. And again, they got the Golem used, which they then destroy shortly after, and they only lost Disruptor. So definitely Team Freedom is very happy with the way that played out here in the middle lane.
Yep, for sure. All the meanwhile, Alchemist farming after one more camp, should have his Radiance, make 300 gold off. And doesn't have the armor, but it's going to be a 12-minute Radiance. Infamous definitely very happy with that and going to speed up his farm massively. I really like not going the armlet first, as if he's getting jumped and he's going to die, the armlet probably not going to change too much, and getting this Radiance really early on is going to let him push the lanes extremely fast and get up to that 6-slotted Alchemist at 30 minutes that they really want to see. Once he does get to that point, then he's just going to be too tanky for Freedom to bring down, as they don't really have the highest damage heroes once he does get some tanky items with his Alchemist.
Silencer with that Helm of the Dominator. There we go. They do. Does he have a creep with it yet? He used the cooldown, so. Oh yeah, he does have a satyr. That's the Purge creep, kind of having fun with a Life Stealer over here. It's harassing him as he's attempting to do Ancients, excuse me. What was I going to say though? Oh yeah, Underlord finished the Medallion of Courage. So again, kind of going back to that, this means he obviously didn't go mech here, and I don't know if he plans to go mech still. Is that a misstep, you think, or are you fine with him going the Medallion?
I think it's okay. It's quite good versus the Slaughter Lifestealer. Going to give them quite a boost in armor. The mech would be decent as well, as the Darkseer does have a mech, so we'll be countering out their mech, but they have so much AoE damage in Infamous, I don't know how much of a difference it would make if he did go for it. So, choosing to go for the Medallion, it's kind of an interesting choice. We'll see if it pays off or not. We do get a pick up on Stinger and going to go immediately into the Roshan afterwards.
Yeah, watched him chasing down Slaughter over there and eventually just caught him in the end with the Illusory Orb, and now we see Team Freedom on that Roshan as mentioned. This should be, who do you give it? I guess Clinks, right? You give the Aegis to Clinks here.
Yeah, you want to give it to your building Sieger. So they're going to try and take the tier 2s with this. But Infamous is definitely going to be ready to fight them. There's the Rock coming up in 20 seconds. They're going to look for a team fight there. Points. Only 1 point in the vacuum right now. Only level 8 on Darkseer. So they don't have the super wombo combo that they're looking for yet. And Freedom does have a window of opportunity where they can try and take these fights before Infamous gets to that super strong stage. Working on the Deso on Clinks, gonna go for Deso before Dragonlance this game. You know, something you can do. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Has 1 Mythal Hammer and 300 gold, so almost there.
Here we go. The sieging has begun. Now he doesn't have the most teammates with him just yet. You see Puck making his way over, and Underlord isn't there. Ix Mike actually pretty low on life here, as well as mana. So, oh, they're gonna find Alchemist in their own jungle actually, and now they want to go for a kill on him instead. But he actually is able to escape, and yeah, they can't find him over here. So good job by Bites Desto. Oh, unless Clinks finds him.
Oh, don't come out, dude.
That was so close, yeah. If he pops out there, he's probably dead.
Very nice from him turning his Radiance off. If he had it on, then BSJ would have found him. Didn't have a TP on him, and he's going to slither his way out, it looks like. Barely living, has his ulti now, so even if he gets found, BSJ doesn't really have the damage to bring him down. So, some nice jukes from the Alchemist, and still trying to stay in this jungle. Being pretty greedy right now. He may go down. Oh, I don't know if this is worth it.
If he ends up dying here, it only has himself to blame. Now, was he not seen there? I mean, he definitely was seen there, right?
He must have still been on the high ground or something.
Oh, man.
Looks like they're trying to go for some wraparound. They're going to take this fight here, charging up the stun.
Who's he going for? Who's he going for? Well, he goes for Underlord, locking him down. Clinks meanwhile caught. The open wounds on him. Static Storm going to be used up. Pit of Malice comes out. and it will stall them from going on to BSJ. And now he's able to turn around, popping out the steering chains. Out comes a global silence from Silencer, but it's BSJ versus Super Benches. No one's going to win that fight just yet. Warlock Golem comes out of the background. The vacuum in on the Silencer. They do kill Underlord, by the way, and Silencer is picked off. And now Clinks, can he somehow escape? Yes, he can. The kinetic field going to lock them in place. As you see Puck from a distance, but they did take out Lifestealer actually in the background, and now Puck needs to make the escape. Gonna pop the phase shift, and Orb poured out right there, and Alchemist stunned himself in the background. So how did they kill Lifestealer?
The stupid mud golem they had dominated threw rocks at his head when he armlet toggled.
Radiant's
no.
top tower is under attack.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that was perfect timing. Whose creep is that?
Silencer?
Okay, he got hit by the rock and then a creep hit him for the last hit.
Okay.
So yeah, Eagle with the big plays to get the kill on the Lifestealer. If he didn't go down, it would have been an extremely good fight for Infamous, but still quite good. Has the boost to travel up on the Alchemist now. DD on BSJ. May look for a kill here. He's targeting a stun.
He gets it off, but he doesn't have the vision. The Radiant Spur not going to be enough either as Klink's able to squirm on out of there. Again, he still has the Aegis on him. Worst case, however. But he is going to survive it, so the fight's not the most casualties between a couple of those fights right there. So yeah, Alchemist hanging around as long as he did at the bottom lane. It actually ended up working okay, but then the death on the Lifestealer maybe changes it a little bit. So, but
yeah. But since that Roshan, the Clinks really hasn't gotten anything done. They tried to take the bottom tower, but Infamous stopping them there, wrapping behind, taking a pretty good fight, and now falling behind on net worth, only at 6,700. The Lifestealer about 1,000 above, and the Alchemist, of course, is going to be far above everyone else, but this is really not where you want to be as a Clinks, as a hero that really wants to be ahead, to take these fights, to burst down the swishy supports before they can get to Ghost Scepters and armor items, things like that. So you really have to worry for this Clinks and just Freedom's draft in general that the timer is ticking and they really need to make stuff happen.
Well, they also just used a Dark Rift right there by Underlord as he was trying to get away by. He was pushing out the top lane, Slaughter and Lifestealer jumped him, and he had to get out. He does have the full Solar Crest finish, which of course is good with the evasion and everything. And he is tough to kill, but now that Dark Rift going to be on cooldown for a little bit longer. As, Clinks, okay, just going to pop the corrosive haste, and Slaughter will wiggle away, saying hello to him. Bottom tower, Alchemist going to protect this. And so yeah, Team Freedom, this idea of doing a lot early on, not going to maybe as necessarily as well as they hoped for. This graph, in fact, they barely poked up in their favor a couple of times, but we're back well in favor of Infamous, about a 1,500 net worth and about a 2,000 experience lead right here. Alchemist, he's got a Yasha now finished, so going to be building that main style. If he obviously gets to a point where he's going to buy Ags for other, I mean, is there a hero on this team where you're like, they should get the Ags on him first? If he does it?
I'm sorry, what?
Alchemist, buying an
Ags.
Ags. If there's a hero that comes to mind as far as who he should buy an Ags for.
Most probably this Warlock, once he has 5 or 6 items, but probably not going to be buying Ags until then. Yeah, probably the Warlock getting the double golem is really, really nice. I'm not sure. I know OD's Q doesn't work on the golems, but I don't know if Searing Arrows does. I don't remember them specifically stating that change, so I would assume it still does. So Clinks is pretty good versus the golems. If not, then he's pretty bad versus the golems. But just in general, gives them more AoE damage. There is an Ags for the Darkseer, but it's not amazing. No Ags for the Slaughter. No, the Ags for the Lifestealer is basically useless. So most probably to the Warlock once he does get to that stage. But by the time they get to that stage, Team Freedom is in some dire straits, most probably. So
yeah,
I don't think they're worrying too much about who they give the Ags to on Infamous.
All right, there we go. The resume after the short pause. Mech on Darkseer, obviously he's picked that up and on a pretty routine build right there. How's Puck been doing, by the way? How's that Veil? Has the Eels as well as the Blink Dagger. So I think Tomato's having a pretty good time. Yeah, 9,400 net worth. He's actually second in the game currently. Behind, of course, the Alchemist.
Yep, 6-0-2, 105 CS. So Tomato having a pretty good game. Gonna be going for the Boots of Travel next. Looks like the Hex afterwards, so gonna try and give them a little more pickup potential. As you can see, they're now just struggling to try and make something happen around the map. ESJ does have that SO picked up, and it's gonna be going for that Hurricane Pike next, but just not really farming near as much as the cores from Infamous. The Alchemist continues to scale up, almost has the Manta style. Gonna clear up all 3 of these camps, so you can just pull them together with the Radiance. Can you continue to skyrocket his net worth?
Dire's bottom tower
Top
is
lane
under attack.
Lifestealer.
Dire's
Desolator
bottom
just about
tower
finished. He
has
actually
fallen.
ports away as Underlord's up here. Underlord kind of playing a split pusher almost, it feels like. He's doing a lot at the top lane. That's meanwhile, Alchemist actually stuns himself over here, but not a big deal. Gonna push out the bottom now. But yeah, Underlord trying to be a bit of a distraction as he bucklers up the minions, and he is going to be going for the mech into the Guardian Greaves. Eventually, over here, Juby gets caught, actually. Lifestealer and Slardar. They jump him and drop him, I'm sure, very quickly.
Yeah, 1 or 2 hits. Does go down, and looks like they're going to use that time to try and pressure this bottom lane. As I say, that TPing up the top, so going to try and pressure IX Mike, but with just the Slider and the Darkseer, not really likely that they get a kill here, and just pushing in this bottom lane very far, forcing people to rotate, and not going to go back to farming.
Lynx is here. The sentry's there too, though. Corrosive Haze, he has it, but couldn't get off in time, actually. He's going to take a silence, pops the Shrine in the background. Meanwhile, Darkseer just ran right into them. Don't know what the game plan was there, but if it's to die, I guess mission accomplished. Bit of Malice, it goes down. Going to zone them out. Warlock always got a golem, though. You can tell Infamous still wants to make a play right here. They still want to fight the Invis Warlock with that golem, but maybe not, because no one else is really here. Lifestealer's actually going to pour it out with that rage. Make his way to the top lane. But Warlock, he's coming to the flank now, so this definitely could still be something pretty big. Teammates coming over. Nope, not going to happen, though. Team Freedom. They say something doesn't feel right. Spider sense is tingling, and they'll fall back.
Radiant's middle tower is
But
under
hey, you
attack.
made some more space for Alchemist. Not a bad problem to have.
Yeah, working towards that Octarine core, up to 2,500 gold already.
Radiant's middle
And you can
tower
feel this
is under
Puck's
attack.
impact start to dwindle. Was doing really, really well on the laning stage. Gets a couple kills here and there, but it's really just on these squishy supports, not really pressuring the cores at all. And this Lifestealer doesn't really care if a Puck walks up to him and throws an orb, coils him, he can just rage, walk away. And Alchemist will have so much HP that Puck, one of his biggest issues as a hero is that he's very low on damage once the game starts to go a little bit later. And versus heroes like Alchemist versus Lifestealer, they're extremely tanky. Back on the Darkseer, they may have some serious damage issues come a few minutes whenever they have a couple more items online.
Dire's middle tower is under
Soul
attack.
Booster now as well online on the Alchemist.
Ooh, so that Octarine just about finished now for him. And yeah, you get the level 25 eventually. 30% lifesteal. I think at that point it's like, oh, GG anyway. So Clinks, though, pushing out the middle lane. Has that Desolator, of course. There we go. Gets the tower kill. The top tower, though, going to be heavily pressured by Infamous.
Are fortified.
Yeah, they're going to do the same up here as the fortification gets popped, however. So we'll delay it at least a little bit. There we
Radiant's
go.
top tower has fallen.
Taking a look at some talent trees here. Yeah, only level 13 on Clinks. He actually doesn't have a talent point yet. 10 magic resist or 10 intelligence. I guess either one's nothing too
both
crazy.
pretty bad. Yeah, they're both pretty crummy.
So passing that up. Level 15 though. Searing arrow damage sounds pretty strong. It's your big damage tool, of course. Warlock.
Yeah, strength not too bad either.
Oh yeah, probably depending on the situation, yeah.
Dire's
Oh, Slaughter's
bottom
running in
tower
though.
is
Yeah, he's
under
gonna jump somebody. That would be the silencer who just drops so quickly right there. BSJ meanwhile
Radiant's
on the
top
Clanks.
tower
He'll
is under
skeleton
attack.
walk away. B5 hit him. Alice catches a couple. Puck with the flank. Out comes the Warlock Golem though. There's the vacuum in, and the wall comes down. Juby's gonna get caught. He got the static storm off at least, but no kinetic field. Anyways, you do see the Dark Rift. Not gonna be in time though from Underlord. A 3-for-1 exchange. Working out for Infamous right there, and Blink's keeping his distance. They almost got
Radiant's
Puck
top
as well.
tower is under attack.
Manages to blink into the base, but this should now be a tower. And Alchemist is like, oh, I'm here, guys. Yeah, I don't think he was there that whole time, actually.
I think he had thrown out a couple stuns. He was over to the
Was he?
side.
Okay.
BSJ used his first strafe on him.
Maybe it was that. Oh, wow, straight from BSJ. Not going to be enough initially, but the Illusory Orb will secure the job. So I guess they do get the turn kills in the end.
Oh, just barely didn't see the Alchemist.
The glimpse back, though, on a Warlock. Yeah, they could have got the Alchemist there. That would have been definitely the bigger target. But at least they get something in the end. And Roshan's up, so yeah, they might just go right into the Roshan pit.
Yeah, so overall, not bad for Freedom. Not losing the Clinks or the Puck, only the supporting cast. And probably going to get this Roshan afterward, getting a couple kills on the supports. They overextended a little bit behind the tower, so getting caught by the glimpse. Gonna get this Roshan, so It's the kind of stuff that Freedom needs. They need Infamous to overextend, need to take these good fights. Continue to get Roshan and try to get some of this map control back and look for a good fight.
He did eventually get the temp magic resistance, of course, really forced to at that point, but they do take out Roshan. And that's another Aegis, as mentioned, for Team Freedom. 2,200 gold saved up, so he's got the Dragon Lance, yeah, the Hurricane Pike. Getting very close now as well. They're going to smoke up. They obviously know that's an illusion. And they're going to work down the middle lane here, where they may get a jump onto the Darkseer. There we go. The silence comes out. Global silence going to be used by Silencer as well. They do take out Darkseer. Can they get Lifestealer is the question now. The Armlet toggle, the heal from Warlock. Silencer trying to get close enough, but he cannot. And in comes the crush counter from Slaughter, meanwhile, to slow them down even further. The upheaval is going to be canceled immediately because of the Static Storm. And actually, Slaughter will fall to it. Tomato's really going deep right here. He will blink dagger away, but at what cost? Into the background. Alchemist stuns it immediately. The kinetic field keeping Alchemist in place with the roots as well from the Pit of Malice though. And Puck will manage to live. And meanwhile, teammates are dying. Lifestealer goes down. And now Alchemist, he's trying to make plays by himself. I mean, he's got the ultimate activated, of course, but can he do it all by himself? It's going to be wearing off right there. He needs to start running now. They do get the one kill on a Clinks, but of course the Aegis going to bring him right back up. Kinetic field, the trap with the Pit of Malice, the ultimate concoction. He gets it off just in time. And he will manage to live as a result of Chemical Rage meanwhile. Out comes the Warlock Golem. Trying to catch a couple of catch Clinks the vacuum into the wall. They get Disruptor and Clinks will fall too. So Alchemist managed to kite that whole time, survive, and buy enough time for the turn kills at their base. That fight it went on for a while there.
Yeah, and that was the Aegis fight as well, so not going to have that luxury for the next fight. BSJ nowhere near a BKB. If he does go for the BKB, then he'll be very low in damage, so not in the kind of position you want to be in. At the very least, for Freedom, the Lifestealer is fallen quite far behind on net worth, so only at 12k compared to the BSJ slightly above him and the Puck 2k above him, so not exactly where you want to be as a Lifestealer, but does have the Alchemist to bolster their team's damage quite a bit, and their team fight, like we talked about, is just so strong between the Warlock and the Darkseer. The Alchemist just spread damage, working really well with that Fatal Bonds, and now with Shivas as well, so even more AoE damage.
Shiva's completed. Yep, there we go. So more AoE damage, more protection even, if that was necessary from before. Lifestealer, you talked about his progress. Maybe not the greatest, but he also has an AC coming along, and that'll, of course, be very useful for the team. So Clinks, he actually went a Chrysalis. Interesting. So he ends up going Chrysalis over a Forest Staff to finish up a Hurricane Pike here.
Yeah, just looking for any damage he can. Needs to be able to take down these supports as quickly as possible, but has the Ghost Scepter on Warlock, so going to make him basically impervious to the Clinks for 4 seconds, which is a long time in these fights. Clinks if he uses his strafe, then that's valuable time that he needs to use to be hitting people. If he isn't, then he's just going to run low on damage extremely quickly afterwards.
Yeah. A great item to have against them. But yeah, going back to Tomato, by the way, Puck, he's really doing all that he can to both keep Freedom in this game and give them hope. He is 8-0-7 right now, and he's getting a good position right here to set up another flank. Silencer going to be exposed. Curse comes out. Darkseer running in the background. Global Silence is going to be activated. And they do catch a couple with the Drain Coil. In fact, Alchemist might stun himself. Yeah, he's going to stun himself right here, actually. And the damage to follow, but the Chemical Rage already activated. He's healing up plenty. They do pick off Warlock in the background despite that Ghost Scepter. And Clicks having to kite away. Meanwhile, Disruptor also goes down. I'm watching the Alchemist action, but yeah, there's really a split fight going on over here. Ix Mike now, the root on a Lifestealer, but he can't really chase him down by himself. Back over to Alchemist. He's going to end up falling, isn't he? There he goes.
He's stunned himself again.
Did he really? Twice in that fight. That's not good. That's not going to win you fights. And the chase continues. I mean, they're making another down here, actually. Sutter's also going to get caught. One more. He's got a blink coming up in 3 seconds. Nope. Slaughter went the other way. Well played.
Yeah, so don't lose the gem, but the Alchemist does go down. Looks like they may lose the Darkseer as well as BSJ comes up here. The Shrine's still on cooldown, so surging away.
Oh, there's the Eel Scepter, and here comes your death. Ooh. Eshavi. You dead. All right, so the streak continues. 10-0-8 now on Puck. Hell of a game. This proving to be a great pick, and he has a Scythe now as well that he just finished.
Yeah. Yeah, so very, very farmed on this Puck. 10k behind this Alchemist still, though. This looks like Alchemist is going for a Butterfly, so gonna have massive amounts of evasion. BSJ is going to be going for the Daedalus, so not going for that MKB, and will have some serious issues dealing out damage to him. Even though he will have so much physical damage while missing a lot of his hits, so Infamous still have this very strong team fight. Sort of took a split fight there, and Freedom very thankful for that. But they also still have all their tier 2s though. So Freedom, despite the advantage that Infamous draft has, been playing very well and even have a map.
Dire's bottom tower.
Yeah, it really
They have a
feels.
map advantage.
Yeah, it really feels like Infamous should definitely started to be pulling ahead. You know, about 30 minutes into the game, it's not like Team Freedom has been winning a lot of these. You know, getting all these picks and got this early start that you kind of suggested that they maybe needed, but they somehow are actually still very much in this game. So Freedom most certainly still a chance to try to finish with the split here, and this kill on Darkseer could help with that. You see the Scythe comes out, and the couple of auto attacks later from that stray from Clinks gets the kill, but in the background they finally kill Puck, and that's a huge kill. As the Lifestealer, 885 gold bounty. Now Lifestealer may fall, but the Lifestealer's kicking in. The Dark Rift taking them away. Lifestealer's going to survive as a result. He maybe should have canceled that. I don't know. Anyways, Disruptor goes down, and they're also going to lose a teammate there in Clinks. Yeah, that Dark Rift, I mean, it got him out, but got nobody else with him.
That was some amazing armlet toggling from Vendras, but the very end goes down. I think maybe it popped. I don't know what happened there. Maybe it turned off his armlet accidentally and does go down in the end.
Yeah.
It's a very, very nice armlet toggling. Keeps him alive for a long time, so they had to continue focusing him, and a cleanup 3, so it's very nice initiation, great blink stun, and now can I get that butterfly up on the Alchemist? Maybe take some of these tier 2s that have been left standing for quite some time.
Continues to clear out the jungle, but yeah, you mentioned the tier 2. That's going to be next in line. Disruptor buying a couple of those tomes there. Going to try to get to level 15 for that minus 30-second respawn time, perhaps, but obviously we'll still have to truck away. The 8% spell amplification picked up by Puck. Him dying though, like I mentioned, Lifestealer, quite the bounty for that. The AC finished, and now he's got. Well, it looks like he wants to go the Yasha and a Manta, and then an MKB possibly on top of that. So he's got his next trio of items really figured out, and going to jump inside Slaughter meanwhile. Here comes that smoke. Roshan not up just yet. Group to scout it out. Bottom lane, Alchemist, he's going to stun himself. He's having some fun with those concoctions there.
Yeah, something we haven't really pointed out is how poor this Darkseer is. Still only has Guardian Greaves and a Soul Ring at 32 minutes. 8k net worth compared to Mike's 11,000, so it's extremely poor for a Darkseer hero that typically farms really well as an offlane. That may be why some of these fights aren't going super well for Infamous, because he just isn't having that massive AoE tankiness effect that Darkseers normally have with Crimson Guards, items like that, but just the Guardian Greaves have been going down a lot with 6 deaths.
Yeah, no Blink Dagger for that initiation, and he might be in some trouble right here. No, in fact, it's going to be bait, baby. They quickly kill Disruptor. Global Silence not going to save him even. And now that's going to be on Coda. The vacuum. It catches a couple, including that Puck as well as the Clinks. Out comes a Warlock on a BSJ to simply try to live. That ain't going to work, though. The buyback not to be had. The Dark Rift not there in time. Puck makes it out, but there's no buyback. 60 seconds. Clinks is dead, and here we go with some sieging now.
Radiant's middle tower.
Alchemist going to work, chopping wood, with no global, as well as no Clinks, and no Disruptor, no buybacks on either of them. The Rex definitely in danger here. The AC and the Deso, these buildings die extremely quickly.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Freedom doing all that they can to hold off with the resources that they have, but it's just not enough. It feels like the vacuum pull in. You are going to see the concoction being used right there, although dodged by the phase shift of Puck. But they kill the tower, Chemical Rage popped, and bites the Destal. You just can't kill him. He's just going at it with the Rex.
They're missing almost every auto attack. He's healing up for the Ocarine Core between the Radiance and the Acid Spray, as well as just his ultimate running. So it's just extremely hard to do any damage to him. They do take the melee racks.
Static Storm, Kinetic Field combo to catch Lifestealer, actually. He may go down here. So may Alchemist. Alchemist's going to pop the Man Stone. They do kill Lifestealer. He has a buyback, though. Alchemist going to be brought back with a glimpse. Stuck with a Pit of Malice. He's somehow still alive. The Chemical Rage. And there goes the health regen. Is it enough? Oh, my gosh. How is he still alive? This spell still ridiculous. Finally, he goes down. Eagle credit for the kill right there. In the long run, I mean, they got the middle set of racks, though. And they both have buyback, so overall, still a pretty good push. But, I mean, losing both of their cores is not something they wanted to do at the end there.
Yeah, a little bit of an overextension. And this Lifestealer just getting kited out a little bit. Had used his rage to hit on the buildings and got silenced up, slowed, and Looks like Freedom's going to claim another Roshan, the third one. These Roshans are really keeping him in the game. Let's take these fights they normally wouldn't even be taken. So a lot of gold boost, 200 gold to the whole team 3 times, 3,000 gold from these Roshans.
There we go. Cheese, it's picked up by BSJ as well. As the Aegis, of course, in its inventory, and the Cheese sitting in that backpack, gonna roam into the jungle here, maybe find Slardar. Not careful of it. Instead, they're gonna go for the Shrine, of course. But Infamous doesn't want to give this up for free. They're pinging the areas if they want to maybe make a play, but they can't really get there in time. So, yeah, Alchemist still being dead. Not worth the risk. Subserver reward spotting everything that's going on in the meantime. Now, the bottom Shrine's still up. It's Team Freedom, they're going to make their way immediately over there, though. So, probably going to kill both, unless Infamous goes for a defense with Alchemist coming back up here. Wonder how heavy they're going to prioritize saving that Shrine. Looks like not too much. Base, a little more important. Yeah, it dies so fast, too.
Both their Shrines going down, and Team Freedom still holding on to tier 2s, so they're actually not looking so bad. A lot of their supporting cast has quite a few items. That's sort of the difference, whereas almost all Emphasis heroes besides this Alchemist are extremely poor. 9k net worth on the Slaughter, which is pretty good for a Slaughter, but still just a plate mail now on top for this Darkseer. So 10k net worth at 35 minutes in a winning game. Just the Ghost Scepter on the Warlock. Almost impossible for him to get any more items.
Beautiful forward staff by Silencer right there. Using it just before he got caught. Pitamouse comes out and catches Lifestealer. They do not have Puck with them currently. Global Silence going to be activated, though. The wall is down. No vacuum just hit. There comes the Warlock Golem. Out comes the Static Storm, though, with the Kinetic Field. Now Puck joining the party in the background. BSJ trying to lay the Lotus Orb on him. And now Lifestealer locked down by the Scythe. However, they do kill. They activate the Aegis, actually, onto the Clinks, and he's going to be locked in immediately as he comes back up. In fact, Puck going to be thrown in the air with the Yule Scepter, trying to get out, phase shift, and survive. Clink's the only one to die through that some way, somehow. But, okay, there was a buyback on Silencer, actually, but still. Job done for Infamous. This time, Clinks does have a buyback, though.
It does have a buyback, but really doesn't want to use it, which massively stifles item progression, which already has not been amazing so far. The past couple of minutes, Infamous has been taking a lot of good team fights. Looks like they're going to get second to last tier 2 tower bottom, march towards it, and really not feasible for the Clinks to buy back for this. Alchemist pushes in top, farming at the jungle with his illusions, and we'll have an Aghanim's pretty soon for the Darkseer or the Warlock, so actually gonna bolster their net worth a little bit, make them a little bit tankier and harder for this Puck to burst down. Who does have the Aghanims now as well, so longer stun duration, a little bit more damage, maybe buying some time for this Clinks to actually get some right clicks in.
Yeah, especially when you consider too with the Lifestealer going the BKB here, almost finishing that. Again, they go for that. He did that literally the last fight too. He survived as a result. Well, this time he doesn't. Never mind. Anyways, Disruptor goes in. I'm not sure what the plan was there. Lotus Orb popped though into Lifestealer, and Silencer, he's dead for 60 seconds. Remember, he popped back last fight. Puck is fine. Blinks backwards, but can they really stop this now? The Clinks is still resurrecting. Again, no Silencer either, so no Global Ultimate. They just have to do it the old-fashioned way. Man style popped by Alchemist. They're attacking so fast with the illusions and the melee racks. Will live for now. Knocking on the door again, though. Pulled in the vacuum, the wall combo, catches Underlord. However, Slaughter also got caught in the midst of it, and he too will fall in the background. Puck making some plays. Gonna throw the Silence being a distractor, if anything, about BSJ. As soon as he comes in, they focus him. The glimpse backwards actually on the Alchemist. That may stun himself. No, he gets it off in time, and he stuns the Underlord actually, but the kinetic field kind of locking them in place. A little bit funky right here, but now Lifestealer going right for the melee racks, and there we go. Will eventually kill it, and they'll be happy with that, although the kinetic field now caught Lifestealer again. The scythe goes out, but they also scythe on a Puck. Lifestealer does fall, now Tomato. He's chasing even further right here, trying to maybe kill Warlock. No, TP out, he'll be fine. But again, damage done in the sense of that at least they got the racks killed. Lifestealer still has a buyback if necessary. Right here, Darkseer just gonna keep running. All right, they finally got him at least.
All right, so they get that second melee racks with these Lotus Orbs doing a ton of work. Doesn't end up killing the Lifestealer there as he hexes him. It hexes the Puck back from the Darkseer. So not able to chase down some of the other heroes. And also it bounced back the Alchemist on, so maybe saving the Underlord there as he was very low on HP. The Alchemist just storming at him, but bounced the stun back, kept him there for a while and forced him out of the fight. So Freedom only losing one set of racks. Definitely not what you want to see, but at least they get a couple turnaround kills on a couple of these cores, and that's sort of been the story for a lot of this game. Infamous taking a very good fight, taking map control, taking objectives, and then overextending a little bit maybe, and Freedom getting some cleanup kills and sort of putting themselves back in the game.
Alchemist, he gave Axe to somebody. Who did he give it to? Warlock? Yeah. Okay, so Warlock does have the Axe now.
And it's working towards that refresher, so has a Perseverance, and about a third of the way there. Actually has 1,500 gold, so about 2/3 of the way there, and that'll give them some insane team fight if he has, the 4 golem drops. It'll be
that sounds strong.
So much damage.
That sounds really strong. Well, it's smoke play here from Freedom. Work towards the Roshan pit area, going all the way to the top lane, but and Warlock going to go with his ultimate. See the BKB onto Slaughter as well. And they're the ones that feel like they're in control, as they should. BSJ, though, on that Clinks, several are going to be exposed. He's going further. Lifestealer jumps aside Slaughter. They go back in, but it gets Hex immediately. Beautiful Hex right there. When Lifestealer opens on a Clinks, he uses the bananas, or the cheese, though, and there's a vacuum pull him onto the wall in the background, but the 4 staffs away. Everyone going to be fine. No Dark Rift activated just yet. In terms of getting away, Darkseer still wants to make some plays, though. Lifestealer still chasing against Slaughter. Jet throughout all this. Over here, though, out comes the Warlock Golems. Catches Silencer as well as Disruptor, so a couple of the supports right here. Who do they want to kill? Disruptor actually blinked daggers away. Unfortunately, he blinked right into danger. And he, too, will be picked off. So, well, only a 1-for-1. Well, make it a 1 for... Actually, Puck was there as well. I didn't even notice him throughout that. He actually does go down. So, a 2-for-1. Definitely working for Infamous.
Regeneration.
Yeah, with the Puck going down, one of the most important heroes for Team Freedom, and they're going to force them to buyback probably, run down this top lane, because they still have the BKB up on Lifestealer. We didn't mention, got picked up, and an Aghanim is given to him as well. So, a little bit tankier, a little more attack speed overall, some nice stats, and the Assimilate, not super useful, but the stats overall are nice, and are going to let him right-click a little bit better.
Yeah.
But getting that Puck kill, forcing out the buyback, is going to basically just negate all of Puck's item progression for the rest of this game. They're hitting this building, they're going to force the buyback if it really needs to, they're going to push it back.
There we go, there's a buyback. The last stand here from Team Freedom now. Can America win, or will South America come through? That's the question everyone's asking right now. BKB popped by Lash in the background. Drinkall still stunned because of the Axe, so they do catch Darkseer actually. Alchemist gonna end up stunning himself again. No, never mind. He'll Scepter, he'll be fine. He is silenced though, as that Static Storm doing plenty of work. He also gets freed by the Pit of Malice. The Chemical Rage is a big Slaughter stun though. On to 3, out comes Lifestealer, punched in again, and that could do it. He does not have a buyback now. BSJ on the run. The Lotus Orb is up, standing his ground. Ain't gonna be enough either. He does not have a buyback either. Underlord does, but is that really a threat? The answer is no. There's the pause. Spam the G's, baby, because this game's over. Infamous taking game 2 and gonna take the series as a result, 2-0.
Yep, Infamous with I would say a superior draft in both games. First game, winning all of their lanes extremely easily. Losing the Katara going down mid a little bit early on, but not the biggest of deals, as they just sort of ran over the Slark. In the second game, their team fight just too strong for Freedom to fight into. With this pushy, early fight up lineup, they just didn't let them. And the Alchemist split push, got up a ton of items, and they just continued to win team fight after team fight. Infamous was some very good drafting.
That was, and a lot of fun to watch. And again, this is a team that clearly is on a mission here. They're playing very, very well, and kind of proving that once again here today. So they start this tournament undefeated, and right now, I mean, the standings suggest they are currently in first place by themselves. Now, obviously, there's even been some teams that, as everyone play, everyone has actually played, but some teams only play one match or so on. But they're the only team that's up there at 2-0-0, undefeated, and starting strong. But again, only one of these 8 teams advancing on to the main event here in the Starladder iLeague Star Series. A lot more grinding to do throughout this week or so. But Infamous setting themselves up in a pretty good start at least, and that's got to feel good. But CCNC, that means we're going to come to an end here as far as our coverage for today. So once again, I want to thank you for joining me. Always a pleasure to have you and bring some great analysis. So thank you. Any last words from yourself?
No, I'm good.
Keeping it simple. All right. Well, where can people find you? How about that? Your Twitch and your Twitter.
Oh, yeah, sorry. CCNC Dota 2.
Both the same. All right. As far as myself, guys, BreakYourCPK here. You can find me at my Twitter and Facebook and Twitch as well, twitch.tv/BreakYourCPK. I do a podcast actually every Monday as well. I just started a podcast here recently, so if you're interested in checking out some piece of content there. It's something I've been looking to do here lately, and I've already got 3 episodes done now, so I've been having some fun with that. It's kind of a weekly recap of things that have gone on, as well as I do some interviews of players and talent and people around the scene. So be sure to check that out, as well as I stream every day, or try to at least. And also, I look forward to seeing you guys again. I'm going to be back on Friday, I believe. That's the plan. Friday, Saturday, Sunday right now is the plan to be coming back. Tomorrow, I want to say, is Cotto Guy, if I'm not mistaken. He'll be on casting. I'm looking forward to listening to that and watching that happening. But again, I personally will be back Friday. But as far as tomorrow's matches go, guys, we got DC versus Dalcom, DC versus Doo-Wop, and then Complexity versus Infamous to wrap up that night there. So quite the day ahead of us tomorrow. And again, it continues every day all the way through February 2nd, actually. So basically I have more than a week of Dota 2 straight here with these qualifiers. Definitely bringing some great action. So I really want to thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to leave back criticism or feedback on my Twitter if you like. And I look forward to seeing you guys on Friday. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the Starladder iLeague Star Series North American Qualifiers. American qualifiers. It's all America. Anyways, have a good night, guys. We'll see you next time.